Greetings and salutations, everyone, and welcome to tonight's middle of the night or early morning bonus upload, depending on wherever you may live. Before we get into this, a couple links. As many of you know, I rely on Patreon, PayPal, channel membership, and the merch to help the channel to continue to grow and go. Links to Patreon, PayPal, and channel membership is in the description below. Merch displayed directly under the video. Also, Dogman Frightening Encounters, Volume 1 through 3, the audiobook versions. They were written and researched by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by me, Jeff Nadolny. Those audiobooks are available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes, links to which are also in the description as well. And finally, last but definitely not least, if you'd really like to help support the channel to continue to grow and go, simply subscribe. It doesn't cost you a cent. Click that like button, takes half a second. If you don't want to miss out on any of the informative uploads I put out daily, click that bell icon, and folks, please leave a comment. Why? Well, because all these things really do help the channel to continue to grow and go, and yes, folks, they do matter. Now, everyone, I have taken far too much of your time. Let's jump into tonight's early morning / middle of the night bonus upload, shall we? Alright guys, so earlier tonight I had the opportunity to speak to Robert, him and his son JR or Junior, out of the Gila National Forest. And tomorrow morning's upload is a very interesting update and encounter from that region. That area of Gila National Forest is steeped in Native American lore, culture, history, artifacts, the Gila cave dwellings, and it is rich with cryptid life. So tomorrow that will be the upload for the morning. But I wanted to kind of refamiliarize you all with who Robert and his son JR is. So check out this very interesting upload. A lot of very good information, terrifying experience. Let's get into it. All right, guys. So about 2 weeks ago, I shared with you an experience from a gentleman named JR or Junior, his dad, Bob, being senior. They both are from the Silver City area of New Mexico. Now, I will refresh a little bit on what occurred and also share a new encounter that Bob Sr. stumbled across just outside of Silver City. Now, a few of the subscribers that are in the comment section noted that they were from this region. And I hope that they're listening to this so they can verify exactly what I'm saying, because this is a horrific set of events that occurred in just a very small populated area. Silver City has the population of like 11,000. Excuse me. Now, Junior is an avid outdoors person. Not really a hunter, but a hiker, rock climber. Just really loves the Gila National Forest. Now, there's a place called Diablo Range in Granite Peak, and he was hiking in that area, which is just outside of the Our Lady of Guadalupe Benedictine Monastery, going northeast on 15. Now, he's Junior, or JR. He's about 6'4", 190 pounds, just a string bean with, pretty decent sized biceps, 31 years old, because of rock climbing. And he's very, very agile. On that day, he had a Garmin InReach, Garmin eTrex GPS, and a flare gun. He had heard about me via listening to other YouTube channels, Dark Waters, some creepypasta channels like Swamp Dweller and the Dread family. So anyway, he was hiking in some outcroppings of rock and cave systems and stuff, and just relaxing. He'd been out for a while. I mean, we're talking miles from where he parked, which he had parked in the Gila Cliff Dwelling National Monument parking area and just proceeded to just go out. So he had been hiking all day. There are cliffs on, one side, just these beautiful rock outcroppings. It's really just your typical Western movie kind of setting, just this beautiful, beautiful area. Well, he had been sitting, proceeded to walk a little bit, and saw this mess, like a scuffled mess. And he proceeded to walk more, keep going, and he heard this strange noise, and it freaked him out. And he he's like, you know what? I don't know what that was, but I think it's time to go. I'm by myself. It's going to be getting dark in the next couple of hours. It's going to take me a little bit of time to get out. Let's just get out. So he goes and starts walking down this trail. As he kind of veers, he sees this large canine, cryptid canine, huge Dogman. He didn't know it was a Dogman at the time, but then he sees what we call crawlers, or what the movie Descent portrayed. And I really think the movie Descent possibly may have been a soft disclosure. I think Hollywood is really putting these movies out, like The Descent, Dog Soldiers, and other things like that. Not that they are 100% true, but as a soft disclosure, These creatures have been talked about for years. So it just makes sense to me. Anyway, he kind of ducks behind this tree, and he watches these creatures just fight with this Dogman. The Dogman has the upper hand at one point, and then everything goes bad for the Dogman. The Dogman is killed, and two more of these creatures come out of this cave area and drag him back in. Or not back, but just drag the Dogman into that cave. JR, gone. Well, he hears noises and stuff as he's trying to get out, and he literally runs. And like I said, he's got a lot of stamina. He doesn't drink, he doesn't smoke. He's just, 31 years old. If I could be 31 again. And he gets out, and he's safe. He tells his dad shortly thereafter. His dad talks to him about the cave paintings in the Gila cliff dwellings. There's some very strange ones. There had been a couple of his dad kind of goes on this mission, like what did my son encounter? My son goes up there. all the time. He's gone up there for years, you know, and I'm not talking years like 5. I'm talking 20. The majority of his life was spent up there in this beautiful national forest. And honestly, please Google it, because it is true. I live in the Adirondacks, and I am partial to my home field being probably the most gorgeous park in the country. But there are a lot of other beautiful parks out there. And this is much different than where I'm from. So I really think it's gorgeous. I'd love to visit something like this, but it's beautiful. So come to find out, there had been some disappearances. There had been 2 women hikers that had seen something per police department, per the Silver City Police Department, the gentleman that is friends with Bob Sr. And that was the most up-to-date information I had until last night. I had planned on kind of maybe doing an hour-long live stream on last night on Hump Day to get you guys through until Saturday, you know, until Saturday's midnight live stream. But I got a call, and that phone call was truly amazing. And like I said, guys, you can Google this. You can check the land out. And for those of you who are from this area, verify what I'm saying, because Bob and his son are both from this area. They have lived here all their lives. They're like 3rd generation Silver City people. So anyway, let's get into the next bit of information out of this location. All right, so like I said, Bob Sr. is now really invested in finding out more about this sighting of the Dogman his son had, but also these kind of strange crawler-looking creatures. Just really quick before we get into this next piece, I've been doing this for a long time now, and puzzle pieces, and that's what, for those of you who are new, I consider cryptozoology a big puzzle. And you may not agree with what I'm saying now, but don't disregard what I'm saying, because you might take something later on. And that's how I do it. I try not to push away anyone's theories, because this is a science based on theory. Now, for a while, I kind of entertained the idea of these crawler creatures maybe coming from portals, which I still do. I really still think it may be a possibility. But after researching Dulce and talking to Laura Eisenhower, researching Nightmare Hall, which, if you don't know what Nightmare Hall is and you don't know what Dulce is, there are some uploads on my channel. It was a underground military installation, deep underground military base, and this one had a lot of experimentation per high-ranking military officials. There was a lot of experimentation with human and other kind of alien creatures entities. And I believe possibly they created the crawler. And I hate saying this because it's creepypasta, the rake. That's what a crawler is. It resembles the rake. And so I think that genetically these things were created, spliced together by possible extraterrestrial DNA with human DNA and other kinds of just, they'll say it's a place, they really did a lot of bad things there. I do believe they created super soldiers out of that location. And maybe these crawlers were just a mistake, but then they realized just how powerful they are and keep them around. Who knows? I don't know. It's just a theory. So anyway, Senior is very interested about all this because he recalls going up to the Gila cliff dwellings and seeing paintings of Native Americans fighting creatures and stuff. This area is like 6,000 years old. Like some of the wall paintings. It's a very ancient place. Well, he starts talking to everybody he can that he trusts. And he touches base with a gentleman that JR or Junior went to school with, who was a couple years older, but his police buddy directed him to talk to this guy. This is what was told to me via JR and Bob Sr. last night. This incident occurred right in the Silver City region, just south of Gila National Forest, in the Chino Mine. Now, it's a huge kind of, I believe, copper mine, and they have a guard shack. Well, 2 guards were doing night shift. It's very quiet. It's an isolated location. They're, listening to music, playing on their phones, just trying to get the night. We're talking desert isolation. There's got to be a guard because it's a mining area. So they're in the guard shack. Now, across from the guard shack, there's a road called the Santa Rita Mine Road. And just beyond that road is some desert area. It goes back to Hanover Creek, which kind of runs through it. So it's just this swath of land with just nothing. No houses, no shacks, just an empty desert piece of land. Well, they're in their shack and JR's friend sees something and he's like, what the hell is that? Pushes his buddy and says, there's a wolf out there dragging a kid. And they both, are looking like, they both have long rifles and pistols, AR-15. They raise up, they look through their scope, and it's a distance away and it's dark. So they can kind of make out that it's a very large wolf and what looks to be a 12-year-old child nude, dragging it by its like shoulder in its mouth and walking towards the Hanover Creek area. So they jump out of the guard shack, they jump in their truck, and they kind of shoot across the road into this plain area, and they stop maybe 30, 40 feet from the creature. The Dogman, which was at quadruped stance, is now illuminated by the headlights. So they stop, they see how big this thing is, and they're just going, there's a kid, young teenager, because he's about 5.5 feet tall and naked, and this huge wolf. So they jump out of the truck. One of them's got their AR-15 trained on the creature, and he takes a shot. The other person had no idea he was going to take a shot, but he did. All of a sudden, the Dogman gets hit, blop, and stands up. The creature stood up on its hind legs and it had let go of the teenage boy, which was not, it was one of these crawler things. Stood up, and this is all a matter of seconds, stands up, and kind of, they're all like, holy crap, what are we looking at? What did we just shoot? And it kind of lets this just deep growl. They're 30 or 40 feet away. They can hear the growl. And they're just like, in their head, do we take another shot? Do we what? It has these ember colored eyes, these orange, just kind of fire colored eyes, just staring right at them. It kind of like lunges, but not really. Like just does that step, like it's gonna step. And it's got this growl. As it's making that initial kind of step, like it's gonna come at these guys, this high-pitched, shrilly noise, much higher pitched than the Dogman growl, but it was a growl of its own, kind of like a kind of, not a howl, not like a woman screaming, almost nothing that these two guys have heard of, and really can't put a noise to, but it's just this high pitch kind of growling sound. Now, the Dogman at that point kind of looks over at where the sound is coming from and turns back and looks at the guys, and then it lets out this howl, drops to all fours, and runs kind of in a northwestern way up towards Hanover Creek, going toward Gila, which is a distance away, so if it was going that way, we don't know, but it takes off. Look, so it's staring at these guys, does that, hears this just wretched noise, turns, drops down, and takes off. So now the guys are watching this Dogman take off running quadruped, they turn back because in their mind, they're still thinking this is a young teenage boy or teenager, nude. You know, they can't really tell what this thing is. They turn back and this thing is now staring at them on all fours. Now, human-like, if we were to stand on all fours, but the hips kind of, instead of how we would stand on all fours and look really kind of stupid, these hips were kind of up, you know, like burp, like that. Sorry for the sound effects. And it's staring at these two guys with these kind of pale white glowing eyes. Not an orange, not a red, but like this white. And it makes this kind of really strange noise as it turns to look behind it where the high-pitched kind of growl was coming from. And I say high-pitched growl because Bob Sr. was trying to explain it to me and he couldn't. He said the way the guy explained it to him was, if the Dogman or a dog were to growl and you raised that pitch. So where that noise comes from, and then these guys are now freaked out because they're like, this is not a person. What the hell are we looking at? All of a sudden, 3 more of these things come out from the darkness. And they are running quadruped towards this one that's now standing 40 feet in front of them. And they're about 5.5 feet tall because when they stop, they stand up. The one that was getting yanked around by the Dogman is still on all fours. And the 3 that came out of the darkness are now standing straight up next to it. They weren't thick. They were very skinny. And these 2 guards are freaked out. They both take a couple shots at these creatures. There was no noise made. As they took their shots, they didn't hit. There was no connection. They were freaked out at that point. They were like, let's get that out of here now. They jump in their truck. They, obviously it's going to take them a second. By the time they have taken their long rifles off their sling and threw it in and shut the door, these things are now at the front of their truck. Doors are locked. They're in their truck, and these creatures are now jumping on the truck, trying to get in. Obviously they are not humans, so they don't know how to, but they're trying to figure out a way into the vehicle. They're slashing at the windows, the doors. They're grabbing the handles. They're, pulling on anything that they think can get them in this vehicle. they start the truck, start it up, and start kind of honking their horn. These creatures, as the truck starts, the horn honks, they kind of just jump away from the truck and very quickly run back the way they had come, where their other counterpart is, the one that was getting tossed around by the Dogman. And they kind of grab it to help it move, because it's not moved. It's still standing like in a quadruped position. The only thing that's running is these three. They kind of grab it and they disappear into the night. They go back to their guard shack. They're both quite shaken. They make their phone call to their boss. They, say, hey, something just came out from the desert area and attacked the truck. They pretty much told the head of the security what happened. We saw this. We don't know what it was. They were both told to take drug tests. The vehicle was looked at and kind of just everyone just shut up about it. This is about a couple years ago. Every once in a while, as they're doing their rotation, they have to drive through the mine area. And it's a pretty big place. It's almost like a small city. It's really big. So when they do their route through, every once in a while, and it's just not these two guards, all the guards who do night duty will see these kind of white illuminated eyes off in the distance, kind of watching them. And every once in a while from the guard shack, they'll look across that Santa Rita mine road and they'll see this eye shine coming, looking at them. Not coming at them, but looking at them. And not an ember colored eye. These white, kind of really piercing colored eyes. Senior told me that the security guard says the way these eyes, the whiteness of the eyes was what the freakiest, and he feels more afraid of, he said, I don't know what I'd do if I seen an orange, like that amber colored eyes, but I'm terrified of these things, whatever these things are. They are out there. There's obviously all these caves to hide in. But is there this battle going on between these creatures? Who knows? This is a couple years ago. JR's experience happened a month ago, roughly. So what? And why? I mean, there's more than enough land. I'm assuming there's more than enough food. We don't know what these creatures eat. We know that Dogmen we assume that they hunt animals, the deer and whatnot, but I don't know. It's a very strange, and it just adds to that essence of New Mexico having this very eerie kind of vibe to it, you got Dulce, was it Taos or Teos, where those weird sounds are that make people sick. It makes sense that there'd be something out there. To me, it does. I don't know. But yeah, that's the latest update. I mean, you got to think about all of this stuff that Junior and Bob Sr. shared with me a week or 2 weeks ago, his encounter, and then the update with the missing people. You look up and see how many people went missing in Gila National Forest. And then there are 2 sets of families that 2 women disappeared and were later found alive and had a horrific experience to share. So these things are definitely out there, guys. They are definitely out there. All right, guys. So I hope that Bob Sr., in the near future, he's going to be going up to the Gila National Forest. He wants to go in the caves, take some photos for us, because there's not a lot of photos of the hieroglyphs, I guess you'd call them, on the walls or paintings. But like I said, this area is 6,000 years old. I mean, this is some of the oldest Native American artifacts in our country, you know, that are still, and it's so beautiful. Like, I've looked at a bunch of pictures when I was talking to JR and his dad tonight, or last night, excuse me. And, you know, it really reminds me of like the Old West, like an old spaghetti Western, you know, with those outcroppings, and just a really beautiful place. But it's got that dark feel to it, and it makes a lot of sense that some bad stuff would happen there. And it's kind of weird because you don't really hear about all the missing people out of the Gila National Forest. Really don't. All right, folks, I hope you all enjoyed this middle of the night / early morning bonus upload as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you. Like I said, tomorrow morning's upload is going to be an update and encounter from Robert out of the Gila National Forest. And it is very interesting, very terrifying experience, and a lot of very interesting information. But I just wanted to re-familiarize you guys with who Robert was and what was going on in the region where he lives, along with his son, JR. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this middle of the night bonus as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you. I'd like to thank you all for supporting the channel. Your support is honestly what makes it continue to grow and go, and what makes it a very special, safe place for people to share. Guys, stay safe, happy, healthy, and ever vigilant, keeping an eye on our children, our pets, our family, and friends. These creatures are real, they are out there, and they are dangerous. Guys, with that being said, never stop asking questions. Never stop searching for answers. And God bless.